If you're wanting to be Kris, I apologise in advance because it's not going to happen. Hello and welcome to class. Everybody please take a seat. Today we're going to be discussing Khloe Kardashian and her strange obsession with being treated like crap. Now there is a silver lining to this, so for the Khloe stans you can take a breather and calm down. It's all going to be okay. We have a lot to cover and a lot to investigate, so get your pens ready to take notes because there will be a pop quiz at the end of this. Everyone has been feeling bad for Khloe because she's constantly running back to a cheater, and for what? Also, she can have a full-blooded sibling for her daughter? What the hell is up with that? She already has like 76 siblings now, come on. Khloe, for those of you who don't know, has just announced that she's expecting a baby boy via surrogacy with her chronic cheater baby daddy Tristan Thompson, and the internet is disgusted and furious. But this time they're furious at her, which is a strange turn in events because normally it's been Tristan getting all the hate over the years, but now the hate has turned to Khloe. Khloe girl, we tried to tell you. Even though Tristan has cheated on Khloe multiple times, like for example when he recently got this personal trainer pregnant behind Khloe's back, Khloe was still dying to have another baby with him. She was also the one who faced the most backlash when he'd cheated on her and got that other woman pregnant. Now why is this? Why does the media constantly come after her? It's not so much that people are hating on her, they're like mad that she puts up with this, and she's dumb for staying with him this long and constantly blaming other women instead of Tristan. Like those other women didn't even know Khloe and Tristan were dating, so how is it their fault? Well, Jordan kinda did, but the personal trainer that he's had a baby with, like she was told by Tristan right before they got intimate together that he wasn't with Khloe. And it's not just that, like Tristan's going around and having a sexy time with heaps of women behind Khloe's back, without a condom as well. And then he runs back to Khloe and gets intimate with her. But Khloe stays with him regardless. And like it's not her fault he's acting this way, he's disgusting, we already know that, but it is her fault for staying. And because she's an influencer, she's influencing all her die-hard fans that it's okay to be treated like this. Khloe has this heavy influence worldwide on women, and she's trying to normalize being treated the bare minimum, and for what? So her daughter can have a full-blooded sibling? Like, make it make sense. There's so many blended, amazing, awesome families out there, and also what a slap in the face to her half-sisters Kylie and Kendall, because she wants a full-blooded sibling for her daughter that bad. Like, how is it better? It's not. And don't get me wrong, Kylie is the same too. Like that's a whole other video in itself, but I reckon Kylie really looks up to her sisters, and so she's probably been influenced by them to have more babies with her same baby daddy who also treats her like shit. Kim also admitted that when her relationship with Kanye was rocky after they'd had North, she literally said that she was asking Kanye to have more kids with him. That way North would have full-blooded siblings, even if they didn't decide to stay together. That was the plan from very early on. Obviously we know Kourtney has done just that with Scott, and look at where that got her, being treated like shit for well over a decade. And I mean, everyone's happy for Kourtney, now she's finally found her dream man, but she wasted away so much of her life just because she wanted her son to have full-blooded siblings, and she stayed. Well, on and off with Scott, but she kept running back to him for that very reason. So don't think for a second that this is just a Khloe thing. All her sisters have done this, all of them, all the ones that have kids, obviously minus the one that hasn't, Kendall, but the rest of them, 3 other siblings have all done this, stayed with shitty men, not because they wanted to, but so that their kids could have more full-blooded siblings. By the way, disclaimer, if you're a Khloe stan, that's fine, you can have your opinions, but please, for the love of God, don't argue with the facts. Because I think something we can all agree with is that the normalization that the Kardashians are trying to influence us all into thinking that we should just be accepting of the bare minimum when it comes to how men treat us, praising them and rewarding them for this type of behaviour, well, it's disgusting. So, Kris never wanted Khloe. Now, what do I mean by that? Khloe loves getting treated like shit, and first of all, we need to investigate why. There are many factors that have contributed to Khloe's ridiculously low self-worth that even being famous and a multi-millionaire couldn't fix. And it's important to note that childhood trauma has a lot to play with how Khloe acts now. She was put through so much shit growing up, and there came a point where she was just like, nope, no more, and she flipped and became not nasty per se, but that's how the world perceived her with how she was treating her mother on the show. The way Kris treated her growing up, like an outcast in comparison to her two sisters, would definitely result in some type of underlying trauma, but thankfully Khloe has a good heart and hasn't taken out her anger on her sisters, but she's definitely taken it out on her mother over the years. Kris is a very vain person, as we all know. She's incredibly self-centered and she always picks favourites when it comes to her kids. She's so blatant with it.
Damn. Kim, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Push this knee out.
Hot.
That's push.
And I don't think the favoritism affected Kourtney so much because she was like the second most glamorous daughter, probably got second the amount of attention. But Khloe got shunned most definitely and pushed to the side. But Khloe is also the most loving of all her siblings. She definitely must have known growing up that she was not a first priority in her mother's life. And so instead of having that close bond with her mother like a lot of people do, she grew very close to her siblings. Now, Kourtney was also pushed to the side growing up and she has a lot of emotional trauma as well. In her case though, she hasn't broken generational curses, and fans are now seeing this generational pattern with her relationship to her children. Rumours have been going around since the Kardashians first launched to fame that Khloe was a product of an affair that Kris had, so maybe Kris resented her in some way because of this. In season 15 of the Kardashians, Kris said that ever since the release of her book, people were coming out of the woodworks, such as Robert's ex-wives, making false accusations that Kris wasn't faithful when Khloe was conceived. Kris confronted Khloe at one point and had said, "Would it make you feel better if we did a DNA test?" To which Khloe responded, "Nope," and that she didn't care either way because her dad is her dad and her stepdad is her stepdad. I feel like at that point, Kris was the one that needed to know who Khloe's father really was. Maybe Kris did cheat and regretted having Khloe, and that's why she pushed her to the side all these years. I also never really saw Kris standing up for Khloe all these years when she was getting body shamed, and Khloe in recent months has become so incredibly skinny, and people think it has something to do with the stress she's been put under thanks to Tristan. Even now when Kris hugged Khloe at Khloe's birthday not long ago, you can see that Khloe is just so over it, and she kind of just stood there when her mum hugged her. The feelings are emotionless. Khloe didn't want to know whether or not Robert Kardashian was her biological father or not because he raised her and he is the father to her and nothing would ever change that. Kris also literally stated in that old episode, "It kills me that my kids could be hurting over my past mistakes," which sounds like an admission if you think about it. Now, if you've seen early episodes of the Kardashians, Khloe always used to get called out for treating her mother like absolute shit and talking to her disgustingly. She was so nasty, and I think it's only been the last decade that maybe she's realised because of social media and everyone ripping into her that she can't talk to her mother like that. So there's kind of been a change in how she talks to her mother now. But what we as viewers don't understand is that she's been treated like crap for years, growing up, and at one point she just snapped. She definitely has an underlying hatred for her mother. Her mother never valued her and she still doesn't, nowhere near in comparison to how she values her other children. So keep this in mind. Khloe has gone through a lot in her 38 years of life, and I'm not just talking about media scrutiny. She lost her dad at the age of 19. She's been body shamed and called it the ugly sister ever since her rise to fame. She's been doubted by the whole world that Robert is her real dad. Not to mention, she caught her ex-husband Lamar cheating on her, and then she got a divorce from him, and then she's been numerously cheated on by her baby daddy Tristan. She was cheated on right before giving birth, and then she was cheated on 2 more times after that we know of, and then Tristan had a child with someone else while he and Khloe were trying for baby number 2. Most recently, since the news came out that Khloe's having a second baby with Tristan via surrogacy, Tristan has allegedly been caught by TMZ over in Greece with a new lady, and people are like so embarrassed for this chick. Now, my theory on why Khloe just doesn't give an F anymore about what anyone thinks, and is just going for it and getting that baby she so desperately wanted with Tristan without having to F him, is because she's getting what she wants out of the situation. Now, you can only imagine how Maralee Nichols, the PT that Tristan impregnated, is probably feeling right now. Pretty weirded out by all this. But this is what Khloe wanted all along. She was very public about her wanting to have a second baby with Tristan so that True could have a sibling, and the situation would have sucked when she found out. She would have been devastated, but for her to get what she wants out of the situation, a sibling for True without having to do the dirty work, if you get what I mean, there's a silver lining in all this. She would have known how the world would have reacted to this, but she's so far humiliated at this point, she just doesn't give a rat's ass anymore. She's like, whatever, it is what it is, and I'm getting what I want out of this. And she appears to be happy, but who would know? It's definitely a weird, non-conventional concept for the rest of us to grasp because it's not normal and it's not what most people would do in her situation. But yeah, like I said, I guess she's happy with it. Also, in the last season of the Kardashians, she was discussing how she couldn't get pregnant and that she was having a lot of fertility issues. And now people are saying that the baby could already be here. So I mean, when we know for sure, we'll have an exact time frame which will give us a better understanding of when Khloe's surrogacy journey began. According to Daily Mail, the surrogate became pregnant just a month before Khloe discovered Tristan was expecting a baby boy with another woman after an illicit hotel hookup. So even if this is the case and the baby was conceived a month before it was exposed that Tristan's other baby was born, Trash Can and Khloe had still split in July last year from him cheating at a party again. And then that means they would have gotten back together in October and then got the surrogate pregnant in November. It's hard to know the timeline of things. Either Khloe and Tristan were doing surrogacy and got pregnant literally right after Khloe found out about Tristan's new baby, or Khloe knew and still wanted to have this baby anyway. So how does Maralee feel about this? It turns out she's actually responded to this news. According to US Magazine, they'd shared Maralee's reaction, reporting that she is not spending time worrying about Tristan and Khloe's baby news. The magazine then revealed Maralee is truly focused on raising her 7-month-old son Theo, who she welcomed with Tristan. Navigating motherhood as a single mother is Maralee's main priority, and she is not surprised that Thompson is expanding his brood. Ooh, snarky, snarky. The source went on to claim during their relationship, Tristan, told her he wanted 5 to 6 children. The real concern followers of Khloe have is how is the situation going to affect things long term in terms of custody and shared care? I mean, who would know? I have a reason to believe that she must think Tristan is an awesome dad. Maybe not to the other 76 children he has, but to hers, he is apparently. I think the only time he's really been called out was by Tana Mojo when she'd exposed Tristan for going out and partying on Father's Day. Tana Mojo had made a snarky tweet that had said, "All I know to tweet about my birthday party last night is that Tristan Thompson was one of the first attendees. Like, babe, where's True?" And Khloe ended up liking a tweet that was shading Tana in response. The tweet had said, "Shut the F up. This screams attention seeking at its finest because you know damn well that man gonna make headlines over anything pertaining to women. You're a bird. Don't speak on True either, weird asshole." Khloe likes to make out like she's this amazing mother who's always putting her daughter first. Like, for example, her having another child to Tristan just so her daughter can have a full-blooded sibling. No. Once again, it's almost as if we're seeing a repeat in the history of Kris here, because she's being selfish by doing this. She's actually hurting her daughter and setting a horrible example. So Tristan can't contain his wild zucchini and spreading his seed. How embarrassing for Khloe. Khloe's obsession with wanting her kids to have the same father is so unhealthy and weird. To give a man another child, the man who did her wrong in every single way possible. Many believe Khloe's just out here ruining her own life and her chances of finding a great guy who will create a better and non-toxic family. Khloe must definitely feel empty on the inside to have to go through all this again. And here Tristan is out here seeing other women during both pregnancies. Now, even though Khloe loves to blame the other woman, I really don't believe any other woman out there wants Tristan. Not long term anyway, especially not after all this. But there will definitely be some women out there taking advantage of getting that coin. Or getting clout, who would know? Whether it be fame or money or clout, they're definitely getting something out of sleeping with the ex of a Kardashian. We've seen it before, there's nothing new to this, it's happened multiple times. And although Tristan is a piece of shit, Khloe is 38 and so she's probably freaking out thinking, I don't have all the time in the world to go out there and meet a man and go through this whole baby making process thing. She probably just wanted to speed things up by doing this. When Khloe went to Kim for advice in the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians regarding surrogacy, that was like mid-June 2021, she was for sure trying for a baby the natural way with Tristan because she'd said that doctors said she would have trouble carrying. So at at this point, Tristan already knew he had a baby on the way because he was getting hit up on Snapchat. It's just, at what point do we stop feeling bad for Khloe? Most people are just disappointed with her. Tristan has many children that we know of. So let's get real for a second and investigate everything to do with his road to fatherhood. Soon, Tristan will be a father of 4. In addition to True and Theo is Tristan's baby with Maralee. Tristan also has a 5-year-old son, Prince Thompson, with his ex, Jordan Craig. In December 2016, Tristan welcomed his first child. His ex, Jordan Craig, gave birth to a son, Prince Oliver Thompson. Then Khloe and Tristan's first child was born in April 2018 in Cleveland, which, if you think about it, isn't really that long after Tristan had his first child. Khloe unfortunately gave birth right after it got exposed that Tristan had cheated on her. Over the next few years, there were many more cheating scandals whilst they tried to co-parent their daughter True. Then in December of 2021, it was brought to light that Maralee Nichols had sued Tristan the previous June for pregnancy and birth expenses following an intimate encounter on his 30th birthday that previous March. She stated in her filing that she was pregnant with a baby boy and that Tristan was the father. At this point, Tristan would have been hella stressed when he found out he was expecting a baby with Maralee, but went ahead anyway and did surrogacy with Khloe, probably without informing Khloe he had another child on the way. As we can see in his manipulative Snapchat messages to Maralee, he has a wicked way with words. He'd said to Maralee at the time, "You know how I feel. My feelings haven't changed at all. Won't be involved at all. By the way, if you think having this baby is going to make you some money, it's completely wrong. You are aware that I'm retiring after the season, so in terms of support, it will be whatever is required monthly for someone who's unemployed. It's Texas, so it will be only a couple $100s. So you're better off taking the 75 grand I'm offering, because you won't get nothing near that with having a kid with a father who's unemployed. All you will have is a baby with a father who has zero involvement with the child and a few $100s of child support a month." In January this year, Tristan then publicly apologised to Khloe on his Instagram. "Today, paternity test results reveal that I fathered a child with Maralee Nichols. I take full responsibility for my actions. Now that paternity has been established, I look forward to amicably raising our son. I sincerely apologise to everyone I've hurt or disappointed throughout this ordeal, both publicly and privately. Khloe, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve the heartache and humiliation I've caused you. You don't deserve the way I've treated you over the years. My actions certainly have not lined up with the way I view you. I have the utmost respect and love for you, regardless of what you may think. Again, I am so incredibly sorry." And then, of course, as we all know, Khloe and Tristan now have their second baby on the way via surrogacy. So who in their right mind would be going after Tristan at the moment? No one. Unless, of course, they're getting paid to. Makes sense about whoever his new sugar baby is in Mykonos. Get that coin, girl. The only woman who was hoping to change Tristan was Khloe. Any other woman who's seen with him now is just there for a good time, not a long time. Most are just looking to get money spent on them, and he's willing to do it. He's never going to change, and Khloe knows this, so she's accepted it and is finally getting what she wants out of this situation. Khloe Kardashian is a nincompoop, and there's 3 reasons why she's a nincompoop. She plays the victim card, she likes to blame, and she likes to project. With the news that Khloe and Tristan are expecting their second child through surrogacy, this has prompted fans to bring up Khloe's past, particularly the way she humiliated and bullied Jordan. And at this point, Jordan and Kylie should have just stayed friends. At least that's what fans are saying. They dragged Jordan through the dirt, just so Khloe could get back with him and history could repeat itself. So let's go back in time for a second and bring up the Jordan vs Khloe drama. Back in 2019, Tristan kissed Jordan Woods, who at the time was Kylie Jenner's best friend, at a party. Khloe instantly started bashing Jordan online, her and blaming her for breaking up her family. Why are you lying, Jordan Woods? If you're going to try and save yourself by going public, instead of calling me privately to apologise first, at least be honest about your story. By the way, you are the reason my family broke up. Kylie instantly kicked Jordan out of her house and didn't let her keep the cars and nice things she'd bought her, and the Kardashians trashed her on their show. So fast forward to now, Twitter is obviously going off and wants Khloe to apologise. Someone said, I really feel sorry for Khloe Kardashian because no one deserves this kind of hurt and humiliation. But then I think how they bullied and tried to blacklist Jordyn Woods and my sympathy goes out the window. But remember Jordyn Woods ruined her family? What a bunch of clowns. This is exactly why I believe the Kardashians owe a huge apology to Jordyn Woods. Khloe blamed another woman for ruining a relationship, but keeps going back to it, and now having another baby via surrogate. Khloe is a scary person. Have you seen what she's like when she's confrontational? Why is it so much worse than when Kim, Kourtney, Kylie and Kendall are confrontational? The way she treated Jordyn was scary. Like, poor Jordyn. I don't think she'd ever been talked to or yelled at like that in her life. Khloe was acting out the gate. And Kylie had the audacity at that point in time to say that she was scared of Jordyn when this news first broke, because she was living at Kylie's house and waking up with a smile on her face as if nothing ever happened. But like, people should be more scared of Khloe at this point. Does she even have emotions? Also, I wanted to mention, apparently a surrogate can choose at any point in the pregnancy if she wants to terminate it. Obviously before a certain time, but yeah, like they've got a lot of rights. Like if they feel too stressed or if they regret their choice, they've got options. But if the Daily Mail sources are true, that the surrogate got pregnant 1 month before it got exposed Tristan had another child, then maybe it was too late for Khloe to back out. And most importantly, how is the surrogate feeling through all of this? She must be stressed, at least a little bit. Imagine being Khloe's surrogate. So, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? Let me know in the comments.